Hello guys, and welcome on board. My attention has been drawn to a particular tweet making rounds on X about a particular civil servant that slumped in Delta State and died as a result of poor healthcare facility. A lot of comment has been under this particular tweet, particularly from Delta State indigenes and those who reside in Delta State. So I decided to look into it. We're going to be having a serious discussion this evening. But quickly, let me read the tweet from Urobo/Abia Princess, and she says, "Dear Deltans, please join me in asking Right Honorable Sheriff and DS government, where is the funds made for healthcare? A civil servant collapsed today at Prof. C. Edozie Secretariat. He was rushed to the clinic within the facility, but guess what? There was no oxygen, no standby ambulance, nothing. Before help could arrive. Away. That's before they could get to the hospital." She went on to say, "This same facility houses the offices of the commissioner, permanent secretaries, and other key civil servants. The crowd you see gathered are sympathizers, helpless in the face of a failed system. Before you rush to defend this negligence, remember, the blood of the dead is on the hands of those who uphold this rot. One day it could be your turn, and when that day comes, your 5K bribe or blind loyalty won't save you. My fellow Deltans, we have a lot to be exposed by this wicked administration, but we lack the funds and support to do so. Please join the Delta resolution movement of truth today. Let's seek for a better governance." Of course, there is a video to follow up, though it doesn't have much. I'm going to play that video so we can see. Okay, like I said earlier, this particular tweet has generated a lot of response from Deltans, and we'll be looking into it. So today we are going to be looking at the healthcare facilities in Delta State. Okay, of course there have been a lot of reply, and this particular reply, I guess, is the essay to the governor on media. He has quickly come out. His name is Enebeli Chukwuneku Kelvin. Okay, he has come out to defend the Delta State government and has put out, some projects being embarked by the Delta State government. So we're going to be looking at those projects critically, but we're going to be focusing on healthcare facilities or healthcare sector particularly. Let's go. Okay, we have what our governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborowori, is set to do in Delta State in the next for 2 years remaining, but within his 4 years. Okay, so let's look at the infrastructures they have earmarked. 1. Infrastructure. Commence construction of 50 housing units, 8 new duplexes at Commissioner's Quarter. Okay, the next one is on healthcare. 150 PHCs, that's primary healthcare centers, under revamp across 25 local government area. 8 dialysis, 2 CT scans, 25 4D ultrasound machines deployed. 3 newborn genotype testing launched. On education, he has 6.7 billion UBEC grants. Okay, we have the one for agriculture. Like I said, I'm going to be focusing solely on healthcare. Still on health again. There's a collaboration with the federal government, and then the next one I am particular about is procurement of 3 MRI machines for Asaba Specialist Hospital, Central Hospital Warri, and Delta State University Teaching Hospital, Ogara. Okay, so Mr. Enebeli has come out to list out the things that the Delta State government is set to do for Delta State indigenes within the space of 4 years. So we're going to be paying close attention to this item. Now this also is to you, Mr. Enebeli. You have to respond to this particular video, okay? You said the Delta State government is building 150 PHCs across different local governments in Delta State. Guys have come out to say, Baba, not be just talk, show workings. Drop the location of these 150 PHCs. Men mount, we go check them out. So it is to you, Mr. Enebeli, drop the location of these 150 PHCs you're talking about. And I just want to quickly point out something. Don't forget that these PHCs you are talking about, they are not standard hospitals. If PHCs were standard enough, I mean, why the pioneer president of APC, Mr. Buhari, choose to die in a London hospital, the best hospital in London actually? He would have come to one of the PHCs in Delta State. He would have died there actually. At least they would not have, exported him to Nigeria as cargo. We would have shipped him honorably from Delta State back to Castina. But that's aside. Let's take a deep look at the infrastructures he mentioned and the cost. First, drop the location. We're going to be looking at the cost of this particular infrastructures mentioned by Mr. Enebeli. So we're going to be looking at the cost of setting up this health infrastructure, if I must say. Starting with the primary health care center, that's the PHC. The average cost of setting up a PHC in Nigeria ranges between 500,000 to 5 million, depending on the standard, okay? So let's assume they are going for the highest standard, which is 5 million. Multiply by 150 PHCs. That will give you 750 million naira, okay? So the next item on the list is the 4D ultrasound machine, which is going to be procuring 24. Okay, 24 4D, although it's 25. I actually use 24 for my calculation. The average cost of a 4D ultrasound machine in Nigeria is 19,200,000. Okay, so although there are ones that are cheaper, there are some that are sold 3M on GG. I know that's the type they'll be going for. But let's just proceed with this price. 19,200,000 multiplied by 24. That will be giving you a total of 460,800,000. Okay. Moving on to the MRI scanner. The average cost of the MRI scanner is $100,000. So let's do the conversion. The exchange rate stands at 1,600. So $100,000 multiplied by 1,600 is going to give you 160 million. Okay, and they are buying 3 MRI scan, which is 160 million multiplied by 3 is going to give you a total of 480 million naira. Okay. Let's move to the CT scan. The average cost of a CT scan, though we have ones that are higher and the ones that are lower, goes for $90,000. So let's do the conversion again. 90,000 times the exchange rate 1,600 is going to give you 144 million naira. Multiply by 2. That will be giving you a total of 288 million. Don't forget, there are CT scanners that are also cheaper. Of course, there are certain CT scanners offer at a cheaper rate at GG, Jumia, and the rest of them. Me, I definitely know that they are going for the cheaper ones. But let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's work with these prices, okay? So let's do the calculation. 750 million for PHCs, plus ultrasound, which will cost 460,800,000. Okay, the MRI scanner is going to cost 480 million, so plus 480 million. And then the last, that's the CT scanner, is going to cost 288 million, sorry. So add up these figures together, adding up all these figures together, you have a total of 1,978,800,000, approximately 2 billion. Let's just mark it that way. Miscellaneous included. Approximately 2 billion naira. Now let's take a look at allocation that comes to Delta State. Delta State receives an average of 48 billion naira monthly. Okay, you're going to be seeing, I'm going to pull up the figures so you can actually see these figures. Between July and September 2024, Delta State received a whopping 128.3 billion naira. That's for 2024 period. Now imagine what they are collecting in 2025. So on the average, Delta State receives 48 billion naira monthly, and they are set to spend 2 billion naira on health infrastructure. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? So it's not as if they are doing us a favor. They are building primary health care center in Delta State, and they are sounding as if they are building world-class hospitals. These are not the type of hospitals they go to whenever they go to London. Yet they want us to be lying down and singing their praises as if they are doing us a favor. They are not doing us charity. We're actually calling them to actually do their work. People should not slum and die because of poor healthcare facilities in Delta State. So Mr. Enebeli, the onus is on you now. I've said it earlier. Drop the location of these 150 PHCs in Delta State. Men mount. We go check them out. That's one. 2, drop the cost of building and acquiring these machines you've listed, because we don't want to find, I've done the calculation, roughly 2 billion naira for all these things you've mentioned. So we don't want to find a budget that reaches, say, 10 billion naira. So drop the location, the cost of these infrastructures. Tell us where these machines are located. You've told us the location of the MRI scanners. People will go check them out, whether it is. Tell us the location of these CT scanners. Tell us the location of these ultrasound scanners. Men, they will go check them out. At the end of the day, we all want a working state. We all want a better Delta State, one that works for everybody. For crying out loud, Delta is an oil producing state, and Delta is topping the chart of those collecting federal allocation. Remember that this figure I actually called that this 48 billion naira monthly is just FAC, federal allocation. We've not looked at the internally generated funds of Delta State. We've not looked at funds coming from other places. We're just looking at FAC alone. And 1 month FAC allocation of Delta State can do more than we're seeing in Delta State. So what we are demanding for is accountability. We want to actually follow the money. This oil money now, our money. We want to see the money working for the people of Delta State. We want good healthcare facilities. We want good roads. We want empowerment, real empowerment, not POS and 50,000 naira empowerment. No. We want Delta State to look like an oil producing state. Delta will be great again. Nigeria will be great again. If there is any particular issue you want us to talk about in Delta State, bring it on. We will look into it. Of course, I've started seeing the issues of schools in Delta State. That's where we'll be hitting next, because Delta State does not have good primary and secondary schools. Actually, what you have on every street, on every corner, are mushroom schools. Everybody don't turn proprietor. Nobody regulates the education sector in Delta State. Person wey not even finish primary school sef fit be teacher for Delta State. And that's where we'll be hitting next. So drop whatever information you have on the education sector. We want a working Delta, and we must get a working Delta in our own time. Thank you, and see you around. You have